This Week in 40K.
Good morning, everyone. It's Colin and Billy for This Week in 40K, the show that's neither grim nor dark about the grimdark. Also the show that's everything you need to know about this week in competitive 40K. Or 85%, 87, 88%.
All the stuff you need to know this week in 40K that I found on the internet and want to share with you.
Oh, I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
We have a little bit of a different show. I have to leave at about 7:32 to take my cat to the vet to have dental work done, which I'm very excited about. Cat? Dog. I have dogs, not cats. Yeah. I did say dogs? Okay.
No, you said cat out loud right now, but you told me yesterday dog.
Well, I don't have cats, so taking a cat to the vet would be a really awkward situation. I found this cat in the neighborhood. Please do dental work. That seems...
He's going to go out and find a cat and bring it to the vet. And you know at exactly 7:32 there's going to be a cat available.
That's when the wild cat comes by, Billy. It's 7:32. It's on a very, very strict schedule. Okay. So because of that, we're going to go quickly through the news. We're not going to talk about the Super Bowl because who really cares? Neither the 49ers or the Seahawks were in it, so it doesn't really matter, right, Billy?
Yeah, and I don't have a on-brand take on the Super Bowl, so.
Okay. So yeah, here we are. I hope that everybody has had a wonderful week. This is a very exciting week because we get to talk Ark of Omens lists.
Mm-hmm.
And then next weekend, I get to go to a tournament. That was my little, I get to go to a tournament dance. I hope everybody who's live enjoyed that. And it turns out our very own from the Thursday morning chat crew. This is Tuesday. Wow, I'm tired. From the Tuesday morning chat crew, Nicholas James is going to be at the tournament with me, which I'm excited about. I didn't know where he lived, and it turns out it's close to me. So I'm very excited to meet Nicholas. If he allows it, I might hug him. I don't know. He's been very, very supportive, and I have affection. Okay. So moving on. Let's go to our top story, which I don't know what is because Billy usually surprises me.
Our top story.
What's our top story, Billy?
I struggled with coming up with a single thing for this week, and what I want to land on is that we're in Ark of Omens. This is the first steady state week of the new season.
It's also the first week of 100% guard, right?
No, I think last week probably was as well.
No, Solaris came out last week, right?
Oh.
The Doran and Solaris both came out last weekend. Or was that 2 weekends ago? I think it was 2 weekends ago.
I checked to the dealer on all knowledge about guard. I just know that last week was all Ark of Omens lists, but this week is the first time where there's normal amounts of news, normal amounts of events, all of it's Ark of Omens. This is what the next several months is going to be looking like. Although we're still very much, I think, at the starting point, and this is the throw spaghetti against the wall phase of the meta. There are some pieces of spaghetti that are stickier than others, and we will talk about that. But there's actually a decent amount of news, and there's a decent amount of events to talk about.
Yeah.
So, all the holiday lull in 40K is over. LVO has happened. We are in the new 2023 season.
Yep.
Let's figure out what's going on.
The season that will feature the triumphant return of Colin to the competitive scene. I'm calling it right now. Going to a tournament this weekend. I'm going to go to the big Tacoma tournament. I'm going to go to 2-team tournaments. I got a year that I'm ready to roll into, and I'm going to start that year by playing the army from 1995 that I started collecting, including models from 1995. I will be bringing the Raven Wing to the tournament. The first army I bought.
What 1995 minis do you have still?
Attack bikes. It's basically the same model.
That's true, isn't it?
It's minor metal and it's plastic now, but as someone who's painted them to bring them up to current spec, it's the same model. They just took the metal one and like, here it is in plastic. Ooh. And I don't know how long ago that was, but I think it was a long time ago.
I actually have an attack bike from the 90s still in shrink wrap in one of my bits boxes.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Because there was no reason to own them back then. I think I just had that amount of money as like a 14-year-old, and there was one on the shelf, so I bought it.
Fair enough. So I have a collection of Ravenwing from a friend and from myself, and I'm painting them all up to the same paint scheme. So it's kind of a fun thing where it's like, what already has been done on this model? What do I have to redo, and what do I have to do around it to make them all match? It's been a fun week doing that.
Yeah, and I've seen it, and they're looking good.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm never going to win a paint award. I'm never going to get a lot of compliments, but I just want it to look cool to me. That's what I'm going for.
And that's the goal. And like, so much of this hobby would be so much better if everyone just made themselves happy and then assumed that the rest of us would follow. But yeah.
That's actually not 40K. The world would be better if everybody could make themselves happy.
Well, you know, the Candyman can.
What's new?
I segued like a professional there. I'm not supposed to call it out. That's less professional, but I did do the thing.
Yeah.
What's new, Billy?
Well, so fair amount of stuff.
Whoa. Sorry.
Damn it. My lack of knowledge.
You're fine. Go.
My lack of knowledge of music always getting in the way of perfectly matching Colin's references. All right. First big thing, not worth talking about much because there's nothing good to say about it. There's a pricing update coming. Prices are going up. All prices are going up on everything, everywhere, including GW stuff. This is an expensive freaking hobby. It's going to get a little bit more expensive. I don't think anyone's really sure how much more expensive because there's been weird links and leaks and lists of what things are going to cost. If you're going to make some big purchases, buy it now. Find your friendly local game store that gives you discounts, support them, and the hobby becomes cheaper.
Yeah, I'll give GW a little bit of credit here. Almost everybody's prices are going up. The supply chain issues from last year are really bad worldwide. Like, for example, I have my landscapers are charging more because of how much more expensive gases they were in a lot of trouble. So it's the way of the world right now. GW is a profitable company, but remember that it's not our decision about how profitable they need to be or not. That's the owners of Games Workshop that have to decide that. So yes, a price increase, but as someone who buys everything for his family, I think prices have already been going up everywhere else. Yeah. It just is the way that it feels. So it still sucks.
It does, but at the same time, you know, Colin was talking about he bought miniatures back in 1995. I bought miniatures back in 1995. In 1995, you could buy a blister pack of 2 miniatures for $5. They were pewter. They were this big, and they were crappy miniatures. Now you buy plastics for $60. That's more expensive, but they're better quality. Anyway.
Sure. And we don't have to play with metal anymore.
Exactly. Although feature versus bug is an interesting conversation there. It's better. Anyway, next bit of news. The year-end GW Invitational event. They shared a lot more information about how to qualify for that. There are 300-some qualifying events all over the world. I don't believe they've really given a ton of information about what the prize support getting you to the final event is going to be or what that final event is going to
I think you're just going to get a ticket. I don't think it's going to be. I think you're going to get the ability to buy a ticket. That's what I think.
That's probably right. And that's going to lead to some interesting, commentary down the road. But there's at least a list of, it says 310 ways to qualify for the Ultimate Warhammer Championship. So check that out. That's an important thing to know about. New rules. There are new rules for Agents of Imperium, which only like 14 people in the world really care about, but boy, do they really care about them. You can bring some fun people. I think when we go through our lists, we will not talk about many Agents of Imperium. So for the more competitively minded, this is a little bit less important. All the miniatures are cool. It's the only way you can get a Harlequin special character. It's to play an Agent of the Imperium. It's, a fun bit of stuff. And then you have any thoughts on Agents of the Imperium, Colin? You a big Assassins fan?
I do. The Assassin I use sometimes is Goblin Green base and a metal miniature from 1995 where there was only one. He was standing like this with a gun.
I still think the original Vindicare is one of the coolest models they've ever made.
Yeah, this is before that. His name was Imperial Assassin.
Oh, okay.
That's what it says on his metal pewter base.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, so those are the new rules. New miniatures, the Rough Riders. We got to see the Rough Riders. The Rough Riders are coming. Will the Rough Riders be something that you'll think about shoving into your guard list, Colin? I know there was a lot of hullabaloo about them.
I don't like the models.
Really?
Yeah, I just don't care for them at all. I already have custom Rough Rider models, so that's easy. That are already painted and ready to go. I don't know. I think the Guard Army struggles with hiding, and I think that the Rough Riders make it worse, and they're a unit that's only good if they charge. I think people are sleeping on Bulgrin. I think Bulgrin are just better than Rough Riders in the list. You need a tanky melee threat that can slam into something, and while people are trying to kill your tanks, Bulgrin need the same shooting. I just don't think that Guard needs a fragile trade piece as much as they need the burly bodyguard, the burly bruiser board control of the Bulgrin. That's my thought.
Fair enough. I do like the minis, but I will never play with them, so my take is meaningless. There are also many other new Guard miniatures that are coming out. More commissars, and there's a combat patrol, and there's a bunch of bits to, I don't know, if you really want to World War II up your stuff. The Aegis defense line finally won't cost like $400 on eBay. There's some cool stuff. Check it out if you're a Guard player. New miniatures. Always good.
Right. Yeah, unless they've got... never mind. Okay. I was going to be sassy, but I'm not going to because this is the happy show. Happy show. Okay. We ready?
Yes, so that's all that's new, and now we can talk about what's winning.
We normally are going to have a favorite. We're going to have a best in tabletop official pet of the week. Because of the shortened schedule, we're not doing that this week. So we'll let John Johnson's dog, Lulu, be the dog of the week. One more time. Beautiful dog. See the picture on our Instagram. Okay. On to what's winning.
What's winning?
Thank you, Ed McMahon. Okay, so we have fun tournaments to talk about. These are not just tournaments. These are good-sized tournaments. This is real data. I want to warn people. Now, we don't normally talk very much about win percentages. We'll probably start doing that more this season. There is nowhere near enough Arks of Omen data still, just like we said last week, in order to analyze win percentages. For example, Guard's win percentage is terrible, and I and my super competitive friends all agree that it is by far the most powerful book in the game. So that a weird thing we're seeing is that Guard is not doing well yet. However, I know several friends who are taking Guard tournaments next weekend, and I think we'll see performance. So we're not worried about win percentages just yet. Of course, StatCheck does a great job of that. We will use their dashboard. If anybody's wondering, we will not do our own math on that. So let's talk about tournaments. I have the wrong browser window open. Here we are. Okay, so tournament number one. Tournament number one is the Stud or Snotling 2023 from Ontario, Canada, the cold, cold north. This tournament was 128 players at 6 rounds. The Canhammer Bros do an amazing tournament. So if you guys ever get a chance to go to one of their tournaments up there, I don't think this is actually their tournament, but they're always a lot of the guys involved. Dustin, one of the most amazing humans. Dustin Henshaw is very involved in this. He's one of the most amazing humans ever. So good tournament to what's the word? Support. Okay.
Attend.
First up, what's that? Attend, patron. Okay. So number one, showing that Colin doesn't know anything. Blood Angels, which I believe I said were not going to be as good as some of the other Marines. I was just wrong. This is a Blood Angels list that is similar to what they had before, but Dante is gone. And instead, he's got a chapter master in here with Rights of War on it, which is pretty cool. He's got the Sanguinary Priest still. That's not surprising. That's a really important part of the list. 3x5 infiltrators. Remember what I said last week. 5 infiltrators is the minimum for a Space Marine player. You can absolutely justify playing 10 or 15. Pre-game move and alpha is very deadly right now. Raven Wing, Guard, demons, lots of things that you need to stop from deep striking and slamming into you. Take infiltrators. Colin said so. Unit of 5 aggressors. Aggressors went down in price. They have 1 million shots. They're particularly good in advance and charge armies like White Scars, where they can shoot and then charge. I'm playing with 18 of them in my White Scars list. Death Company Marines. you'd expect that, but there's only 5 of them because I think they went up in price. So I don't know that. I'm not a Blood Angels player. Sanguinary Ancient, and then 3 units of Sangard. They look like they're 766, actually 765, which is delightfully waterfalled. Then a unit of Scouts with all of the different gear. You can give them for free now. By the way, he does have a mix of axes and swords, for those that are always wondering that. But he has it by unit. He has 2 units with swords and 1 unit with axes. Okay. The Scouts are cool. They have a storm. That's a neat trick that Marines can do now. The Scouts start in the storm. The storm goes 16. Scouts get out 3. Now you're at 19. Then they move. Now you're at 25. It's far. You can get them onto an objective. They're not OBSEC. They're 1 wound each, but, still good. He's got...
Oh.
Sorry, I hear something weird.
Okay.
He's got 2 units of Assault Marines. Each of them, one's a 5, one's a 6. Then he's got a Whirlwind, which was probably for the no Overwatch trick. Yeah. Really neat list. Similar to what we saw before. Good job, Sam, at adapting to the new meta. I know that Sam Procopio is a fantastic player. We've talked about him before. So congrats to him on winning one of the biggest tournaments so far of the season.
Yeah. The only thing I wanted to add was just to make sure we talked that it was Sam Procopio. Sam winning with Blood Angels is not Colin doesn't know anything. That's Sam winning with the army that Jack Harpster might have something to say about it, but Sam or Jack are the best Blood Angels players going right now.
Yeah, I know that. Okay. Yeah, I know. That's how it felt to me when I said that. Okay. My brain's like, what are you, 12? I'm going to take my ball. I'm going to go home, Billy. Okay. I already am home. I'm going to take my cat. I'm going to go no, I still don't have a cat. Tausept. By the way, Colin is not sleeping right now. So stuff is going on with Colin. If you want to hear about it, join us on Better Human, Better Gamer on Wednesday night, where I will talk about why I'm not sleeping. Hint, I've made a massive life change that involves a certain legal recreational item in Washington State. Okay. Anva, who I don't know who is, but I'm aware is the character. What's one of those guys called? Those weird alien people that walk around. Ethereal.
Yeah, they're the one that feel no pain.
Yeah, this is a Tausept list. He's got a commander in battle suit. He's got Shadow Sun, as you'd expect. He's got Long Strike, which is really cool. This is where the list gets different. Okay. Oh, I didn't say that this is Thomas Ogden's list. Thomas Ogden's one of the best Tau players. He wins all the time with them. I played him at Las Vegas team tournament. He's a great player. Crisis suits. He's got 1 unit of 5 with all the drones, and then 1 unit of 3, and then he's got triple Riptide. So frankly, this is somewhat similar, but the planes are gone. It's got extra Riptides. Interesting. No he certainly did go second. I think that was 5-1.
No. He went 6-0.
6-0 too. So good job to Thomas Ogden. A friend of Thomas Ogden's got 3rd. And that friend is TJ Lanigan. TJ likes himself some chaos, so he brought some demons. He's got a Bloodthirster. He's got the Lord of Change. He's got a Scarbrand, and he's got the Transweaver. The Lord of Change is an interesting addition to the list now. It's very durable. It has good psychic powers. It's an interesting piece. It is 355 points, but it's certainly an interesting tech piece we're starting to see. A unit of 10 Bloodletters. Those are still cool from Deep Strike. Unit of 10 Pink Horrors. Pink Horrors are amazing because they split now for free. So that 1 unit of 10 Pink Horrors is actually a bunch of wounds unless you kill it in one go. And again, they have a 3-up unmodifiable save in shooting. Just really great. Then we've got a unit of 3 Fiends, 4 Fiends, 4 Fiends. 4 Fiends are great, inexpensive, smash pretty good, fast. And then 2 Skull Cannons, which are 90 points each. I don't know anything about them, but I own one, which is weird. But I don't know anything about them other than for 90 points, they're probably a really good deal. That's all I know. This list is 1985, which is interesting. I bet he didn't have an option to add another 15 points, which is a funny thing that happens in 40K.
especially with Ark, with a lot of upgrades being free, it can be challenging to find the last X amount of points. I've actually found that in Marine lists. Like, I have 30 points left, and it's hard to spend it.
Right? All right, so here's what I'm really excited about. Diego Pita got 4th place with Leagues of Votan. I've been waiting for Leagues of Votan since Naja's win. I've been waiting to talk about them in a big tournament, and here we go. I don't know this book that well, but I'll tell you what it's got. It's Ymir, which you'd expect. Weimer, Ymir, Heimer.
Ymir?
Yeah. Frankly, YMY is not a combination of letters that exists in English. I don't think.
No.
I don't think so. Okay. He's got Broker, Forge Master, Grimnir, and Call. None of those names are right because they got weird umlauts and stuff over them. He's got a unit of 10 dudes, which you'd expect, the Warriors. 2 units of Berserkers, 5 each. Then 3 units of Pioneers that look like 3 each. Those are the bikes, right? The Pioneers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I love the bikes. They pregame move. They're super fast. They have pretty good shooting. They're durable enough that you can slam into something and hold it in place in combat. They're not particularly punchy, but that's because the dwarves aren't particularly punchy unless you have the Berserkers. Then he's got the Thunderkin, and he's got 3, 3, 2, or 3 and 3, and then he's got 2 land fortresses. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
2 land fortresses. Super neat list, lots of tools, taking a little bit of everything, which is a little different than what we've seen where people have really been spamming a particular thing. Do you want to talk about Votan?
I'm curious to see them go. I looked at the placings, and it looks like he lost to Thomas Ogden in the finals, which suggests that he got, leaf blowed off the field, because that's what Thomas's list does. And I can absolutely see that happening, because there's not a lot of stuff on the ground in this dwarf list.
Well, that's actually a problem that Votan have.
Yeah.
A really good shooting army is a real problem for them. I played 10 russet. No, I played a standard normal guard list before Horseman came out, so I didn't even have all the rerolls from Horseman, and I still just blew them off the table. Yeah. Like, not even fun, just gone. So they're not quite durable enough to hang with the aggressive shooting lines unless you really bring your jank. I don't know how that game went, obviously. Yeah. Okay, next tournament. The next tournament is the Beachhead Brawl 2023. It's a great time to be at the beach. It's February. 123 players, 6 rounds. I'm going to mute myself for just a moment because I absolutely have to blow my nose and not let you guys hear it. I'll be right back.
Okay. I don't think this is going to take long enough for me to do any particular vamping, but I think that, Super Bowl, Eagles, you got what you deserve for that Devontae Smith catch against the Niners in that first drive. That's all I'll say. I think
that was disrespectful and churlish. All right.
I needed to figure out something to say on short nose.
Yeah, that is definitely not your talent from what I've witnessed so far. Whereas Colin can talk about things forever. They just might not be interesting. Okay, so Manny Chima took Dark Angels. And one of the things you're going to hear throughout the tournaments today is Dark Angels are very good. I think that so far they're outperforming the other Marine chapters. Mm-hmm. It's not with a lot of data, but I was expecting Iron Hands to be the top. And I don't think we're talking about... Are you talking about Iron Hands in your list?
I have a few, at least one, if not 2 Iron Hands.
Okay. All right. That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
So this is a Dark Angels list. I've been taking all Raven Wing. I think that what Manny's doing here has an incredible amount of merit, which you'd expect from Manny, and a whole lot of math, which you'd expect from Manny. So starting off is 2 Talon Masters. One is Rites of War, which you'd expect. The other one is Arbiter's Gaze. For those that are going to play against Dark Angels, that is a always hit on 2 and ignore cover relic. Does it work in Overwatch? Why, yes, it does. So that's pretty dope. Then 1 unit of Incursors, not Infiltrators. That surprised me. He's got the Blade Guard Ancient with the -1 damage banner. The Ancient does a bunch of other stuff as well. But you can take the Blade Guard Ancient because he gains Deathwing, and he's cheaper than the Deathwing Ancient. Because it says on his card that he gains Deathwing. Then he's got 2 units of 10 Terminators. Both of them are Cyclone Missile Launchers and then entirely Thunderhammer Storm Shield. Those are always transhuman Thunderhammer Storm Shield bros. So they have a 1-up save, 0 up in cover, and they just slap in Dark Angels. If they sit in combat for a turn, they get +1 to hit. Like, they're just good, and then he can give one of these units -1 damage as well. So this happened a lot before when the book came out, where you get these Terminator bricks that are just crazy hard to kill. He's doing 2 of those 10s, and then he also has a 5.
Mm-hmm.
So really, wait, 1, 2,
yeah,
5. Yeah, 5. So really incredible. Ravenwing Apothecary is an apothecary with a bigger aura because his base is bigger. He did get errata to having the correct aura size. He had a 6-inch aura for a really long time. Then the tech piece that I love, that I didn't think about, is the Ravenwing Champion. 70 points, 2 CP. Bro has got a good sword. He has 6 attacks. It might be 7 on the charge. I don't remember exactly. The Warlord trait he's taking gives him 1 as well and lets him reroll charges. So he's weapon skill 2. He's got 6 or 7 attacks. He's strength 7, AP 3, 3 damage. He rerolls the wound against characters, and he has always fight first versus characters. So he moves 17 inches in charges, and if you charge him into a character, he's probably going to kill it. I think that's a really neat trick for such an aggressive shooting army.
Doesn't he also have the strength 8 on the charge from that Warlord?
I think it's long as I thought it was 8 too, but I think he's strength 4.
Strength 4. The sword is 3, and then +1 on the charge.
Why does he get +1 on the charge?
I think that's what Imperium's sword is. It's an attack and a strength.
I think it's an attack. Okay, whatever. Could be. The Imperium sword is the strength, whatever. It doesn't matter. I think it's strength 7. Billy thinks it's strength 8. Your mileage may vary. Moving into fast attacks, he's got 3 of the tornadoes that I talked affectionately about last week. 70 points for an assault cannon and a multi-melta on a thing that's really fast and somewhat durable is really great. And then he's got 3 Ravenwing Landspeeder Vengeances. Those are only 100 points. They shoot great. They're fast. You can kind of keep them 36 inches away from the fight while people are dealing with all your Terminators. It's really a good tech piece. So this is an incredibly durable close combat army that has wonderful shooting that's fast. This is a very neat list. If you're a Dark Angels player, I encourage you to get this on the table and give it a go. It should be relatively straightforward to play from my view. Anything to say about that?
No, other than it is strength 8. I just looked.
Well, that's great. I couldn't fit him into my list. I tried really hard. But I'm taking a lot more shooting than Manny did.
Yeah.
More next week about that. Okay. Next place is Chaos Demons. Hold on. Liam Calabout. I don't know. Sorry, Liam. Liam also had demons. I was expecting the demons would be good here in Arcs, and so that's what we're seeing so far. Be'lakor, he's great. Changecaster, Scarbrand, everyone knows Scarbrand's great. Transweaver, 2 units of 10 Demonettes. They are the least expensive troop choice. That's OBSEC for demons. Then 2x3 Nurglings, an Exalted Flavor, which Chuck talked about on Best in Faction. It has crazy shooting, and it's a character, so it can just hide behind stuff. Really good shooting. Heavy shots. I think strength 9, AP something, 3 damage. Like, really good. 2 units of Fiends, like we talked about before. They're fast and they smash pretty good. Pretty good skirmisher unit to send to an outskirts objective. Then 5-4-3, excuse me.
Yeah. 6-5-3.
Yes. 6-5-3 of Flamers. They're still good. As Chuck talked about on Best in Faction last week, the Flamers being Ballistic Skill 3 is not that big of a deal. It's easy to get them to 2. You can give them reroll 1s. It's just not that bad. And then a unit of Screamers, which is fun. I haven't seen that in a list yet, but I love the Screamers.
Oh, wait until my lists. Screamers are showing up.
All right. Third place is Iron Hands, which I just said I wasn't going to talk about. Which is weird because I looked at these lists last night, so you'd think that I would know that.
Yeah.
All right, this is a different approach to Iron Hands. He is not a normal Iron Hands chapter. He is Master Artisan, so that's a reroll on the shot, and then Whirlwind of Rage, which is exploding sixes in combat.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a captain, not a Primaris captain, just a dude with a jump pack and a Kami Melta and a power sword. I think that's fun. He's got the Imperium sword, which we just talked about. Mm-hmm. Then he's got a Primaris lieutenant, only one. Sorry, GW. Mastercrafted power sword, storm shield, Neo Volkite pistol. Most importantly, that lieutenant is reroll once to wound for 65 points, which seems like a really good deal. Makes me wonder why I don't have him. Oh yeah, I have Talamasters. Tech Marine to fix things. 2 units of 5 infiltrators. Remember what Colin said, you have to take them. It's required. Relic, Contempt, or Dreadnought. That's always cool with Twin Volkite. Yes, this one's the one that's a character that you can't shoot, so that's pretty dope. It does cost 3 CP to do the combo he's doing.
Yeah, but it kills everything. It's
really good, yeah. Unit of Scouts, I presume they have a Storm. Yep, that's a thing we're going to start seeing. And then 2 units of Stern Guard, which I think is interesting. They've got Kami Meltas, they've got Multi Meltas, shooty. Then 2 units of Van Vets. I was wondering if we'd see Van Vets. 1 unit is Power Fist, 1 unit is Lightning Claws. They all have jump packs, Storm Shields, and Storm Shields. Mm-hmm. 2 units of 3 Suppressors. I love Suppressors. 2 units of 5 Devastator Marines with a mixture of Multi Melta and Grav. Then a Gladiator Reaper, which if you haven't seen those yet, they're completely dope for their points. It's one of the Primaris tanks that nobody owns. Good job, GW. Yes, we're all going to buy them. Congratulations. I'm sure they're sold out. Promise you they're sold out. They're really good for their points. 2 drop pods and a Land Speeder Storm. So he could put 10 devs in a drop pod and 10 Stern Guard in a drop pod. This is really interesting. I personally hate drop pods, but I do not have time to tell you guys about that today. I will tell you that any close combat army that's good at what they do, they are absolutely going to wreck you if you have drop pods. Mm-hmm. Next up is Mr. Stephen Box himself, the man, the myth, the legend. He's done an incredible amount for the community. I don't think he listens to our show, but if he does, hi, Stephen. So this is a Eldar list, which is the last thing I will talk about today. Let's see. Children of Cain and Vengeful. What are those?
One of them is like +1 damage on 6s to hit, and I literally have no idea what Children of Cain is. And
wonderful. We could have looked that up, but we didn't. He's got an Autark. Okay. He has got with the wings, which is cool. He's got an Avatar of Cain. Surprising. He's got a Farseer on foot and Jane Czar. So far, I am befuddled.
It's 6s to hit are an extra hit, and 6s to wound are +1 damage.
Okay, cool. Again, Jane Czar. What? Unit of 5 Rangers, 2 units of 5 Banshees equipped the way you'd expect. A unit of 5 Scorpions, a unit of 5 Scorpions, a unit of 10 Scorpions. I have no idea what's happening, Stephen Box. Unit of 4 Shining Spears, unit of 4 Shining Spears, 3 Warwalkers with Scatter Lasers. Scatter Lasers, okay. And 3 D-Cannons because D-Cannons are dope. This is nothing like what I expected Eldar to be. I'm very excited that I didn't understand what Eldar was going to look like. Congrats to Stephen Box. I'll see if I can learn more about this list for next week.
That puts an obscene amount of pressure on you, boxes you in, and hurts. And boy, would it not want to go second to Thomas Ogden.
It's Stephen Boxes you in.
Yeah. Oh, well done there, sir.
All right. I can't drop because it will ruin everything. So I'm just going to mute and stop my camera. Thank you, everyone. I adore you all. Happy Valentine's Day. Please make sure to call your mom. Please call your mom. If you can. If you can call your mom, please call your mom. Moms get forgotten about on Valentine's Day. Moms need affection. I don't care that Mother's Day exists. Call your mom. They work hard. I want to tell all of you that if I didn't love my family and my dog so much, you'd be the people I love the most. Bye, everybody.
And there is Colin. So you guys are stuck with me for the remaining 25 minutes, and that leaves me in the odd position of having 25 minutes to talk about all of my various results. I have no one to talk with about, so chat, if you want me to respond to anything, I will respond to you, because otherwise it's just my voice for that long. And while my voice is wonderful, it's more interesting when there are other people to talk about. The next event is Nurgle in Nuremberg, Germany, which was 88 players and 5 rounds. This was won by Matthias Bellman. He is a king of the hill. And this is the one event that we thought Colin was going to do, not me. Ooh, Zach the Bird thinks his time has come. He's going to chat with me. Thanks, Zach. So Matthias brought Hail of Doom. Let's see. He's got 2 units of Warlocks, 2 Farseers, 2 Phoenix Lords, both Karandras and Baharoth. So 1 to do missions in Flappy B. And Karandras punches pretty hard. 30 Dire Avengers, 2 units of 5 Banshees, 1 unit of 5 Scorpions, small unit of Shiny Spears, 3 Shroud Runners, and 9 Shuriken Cannon Windriders. This is a good and interesting list that, again, doesn't want to go second to anyone who shoots him. And Hale has amazing offensive output. I worry about what its staying power is if it goes second. And to Colin's point about Guard not necessarily showing up yet, boy, do mortars want to shoot this list. That said, Matthias won a 5-round event, and I've never won a 5-round event, so I trust Matthias's take more than I trust mine. Fictitiously Famous thinks it's time for Billy the Vamp, and Nicholas thinks it's time for the Billy Power Hour. Fun fact, and we are not encouraging folks to drink to excess, but I always found Power Hours less of a challenge than everyone else made them out to be. Next, we have William Fuhrman. He is from Brilliance. William brought an unsubmitted list of Leagues of Votan, but not just the unsubmitted list at the top of BCP, an actual, I can't click on his list and tell you what was in his army. I have William. Next time, submit your list. It is Leagues of Votan. That's all we can say about you. Dominic DeCassin came in 3rd. Dominic did the same thing. So Nurgle Mania is not going to have a lot of coverage because the Nurgle Mania lists are not much in there. Dominic brought Dark Angels. This would have also been a fascinating thing to discuss, and sadly we cannot. Joseph McGrath in 4th. Joseph submitted a list, so Joseph gets talked about. Zach wants 20 minutes of me trying to pronounce names. It is an international set of names. Ooh. Zach came up with a good one about the Votan list. His list was coming up a little short. Just as a longtime elf player, I allow myself a small amount of mockery of our dwarf friends. That said, what was the name of this person? This is Joseph McGrath in 4th place with Custodes. He is doing Emperor's Chosen, which is a little different than what I'm seeing in other places. And this looks more like a generally, grab bag kind of list. Bike Captain and Trajan. Trajan is in every list. Hardest working man in gold. 2 units of Alaris Custodians with spears. 2 units of Venatari, 3s. And then 3 units of 3 bikes and 2 Calades grab tanks. This list brought to you by early to mid 2022, I believe is when Custodes came out. And this list would have been right at home then. My understanding is they got a lot of their stratagems unnerfed, and this stuff was great then. It's still good now. I do worry that because the amount of data sheets Custodes have, they don't have a lot of ability to flex into a meta. So as things get more refined, my bet would be you'll see Custodes start to fall off. But they are putting up really good results. So if you like your boys in gold, now is the time to do it. And finally, 5th place, for people who want me to pronounce a name. Ares Luthi, the god of war, followed by L-U with an umlaut, T-H-I. Fun name for Ares here. Ares brought Chaos Space Marines, and Ares did not submit Ares' list because Ares chose violence. Some type of Chaos Space Marines there for Ares. And that's all there is to say about Nurgle Mania. It's a I'm sure it was a wonderful event over in Nuremberg, Germany, but they just didn't tell us a lot about themselves, and so we can't talk a lot about themselves. Moving on to Team Stonehammer presents the 36 Chambers. Anyone from England who knows what those 36 chambers are and want to tell me in the chat, I'd be curious. This was won by a somewhat surprising faction here. Chris Kinnair brought Necrons. He brought Nihilak. He brought no Silent King. He chose Anthony Vanilla. No, Zach. While Anthony is violence, Ares, the Greek god of war, was violence several millennia prior. And Anthony Vanilla is a wonderful human being, and Ares was kind of a dickish god. Anyway, Chris Kinnear, first place Necrons at Team Stonehammer presents. Nihilak, no king. He did bring a plane because he just wanted me to be mad because I hate planes. He brought a Locust Lord, Techno, and Trazen, who's the special character who does something. 18 Scorpex in units of 6, 3 and 3 Scarabs, 4/4/3 Tomb Blades, 6/6 Destroyers, and 2 Heavy Destroyers. Honestly, a very similar list to what you would have seen with Necrons, absent the Silent King, and the fact that they don't have to take their troop tax. So you move those two things around, you put this on the table, and you apparently can still win an event. 55 players too, so congrats to Chris for figuring out something interesting with Necrons. To our friends who are still playing Necrons, this is a good place to look. Zach thinks the 36 chambers are where GW keeps the plastic Thunderhawks that have been waiting for us. Sure, not your best work thus far, Zach, but I genuinely am curious what those 36 chambers would be. Anyway, second place, Bethany Taylor with Chaos Demons. When I said Screamers were going to show up, this is where Screamers are going to start to show up. It's a pure Tzeentch list. It has a Changecaster, Demon Prince, and Fate Skimmer. So smaller heroes, no Lord of Changes, no Fate Weaver. 10 blues and 20 pinks, 6/6/4 Flamers, 1 Exalted Flamers, 5/5/5 of Screamers, and 3 Burning Chariots. So this list is actually really fast, on top of being annoying to shoot and shooting you back very well and having pretty solid mortal wound output. So it's sort of a skewed damage output, but you would have to be prepared to fight this list. And if you were not, you're going to be very frustrated because of its speed and its damage output. Is that a Wu-Tang reference with 36 chambers? Fictitiously famous, I, probably unsurprisingly, not cool enough to get Wu-Tang references off of the cuff. Although for anyone who likes niche, although shouldn't be niche TV, The Leftovers, Norder's Wu-Tang Tattoo is one of the best Wu-Tang references out there. Anyway, Bethany brought this Tzeentch Demons list. You're going to see a few other places. So either we have Parallel Evolution, or there's some mumblings out there about this pure Tzeentch list. Pay attention to it. Think about how you would deal with it. Colin is reminding me to talk about Frontiers, and yes, we will be telling you about Frontiers near the end of the show because they told us a lot to tell you about. I'm going slowly enough that I think the timing is going to work out. I've never done it this way, so we're going to find out. Dan Bates, 5-1 in third place with Craft Worlds. This was Masterful Shots and Vengeful, so ignore cover and exploding 6s to hit. He bought Flappy Boy, 2 Farseers, 2 Warlocks, 7/7/9 Dire Avengers, 5/5 Banshees, 5 Scorps, 3 Spears, 3 Shrouds, 9 Hawks, some Decants, some Wave Serpents. So Nick Box's or Stephen Box's list from the other England event, very similar-ish sort of a thing. This one is Masterful instead of Children of Cain, so a little bit more on a little bit more leaning into shooting than all punching, and you're missing the 10 Scorpions that Stephen had. But it looks like we're just leaning into Aspect Warriors with Eldar, and that's where things are looking. I am abandoning my pointy-eared friends and moving to Space Marines because it just feels to me like this is one of those broken Space Marine times, although you wouldn't know it from results. Fourth place, we got Lewis Archer with Orcs. These are Goths. This has 3 kill rigs and no gas, which is, those are the 2 things that I always look to first in Orcs. And then just a bunch of boys in green. 20 Storm Boys, 3 Piggies, 5 and 5 Commandos, 30 Gretchen, 30 Beast Snaga Boys, Zag Struck, and 2 Beast Bosses on the Squigosaurs. Beast Boss on Squigosaur is just a super cool model, and it does slap pretty hard. This will punch you in the face. Another list that probably doesn't want to see Thomas Ogden's army, but they have good terrain over in England, is my understanding. And that's a list that, if it can hide, you do not want to be punched by it. Third place, talking more about the boys in gold custodes, Michael Arner brought Shadow Keepers. I believe these are the faster ones. They might even have advance in charge. If anyone wants to get me right on that, I would appreciate it. He brought Trajan and a bike captain. He brought 3 3s of Venatari, 2 3s of bikes, 3 3s of Sagittarum, 1 Alaris, and 1 Vexillus. So a lot more. I've heard this a lot, but I don't understand the nuances. Zach's asking terrain different in England and the USA. Listen to Next Generation. They have lots of conversations about terrain. I believe we're going into it. Basically, they have, my understanding, it's across the pond. It's more standardized, much more line of sight, hidey ruins, which, as someone who likes playing armies that punch people in the face, big fan of. Nurgle Matthew is saying, yes, look at the LGT or WTC packs. Those are very Googleable and good. That said, Michael Arner, I don't want to lose you. This is, a lot more dudes on foot or bikes or jump packs. So no tanks and we've actually not seen any dreadnoughts in Custodes, which makes me think that there's something about dreadnoughts that didn't get unnerfed. But very MSU. If you look at at least the top 3 armies there, I don't know that this Custodes list would love going into any of those, but it's absolutely an X and 1 list that can do quite well. Speeding up, because there's much to talk about. This is the All-Star Heat 1 Hellstrom 40K series, also in London, England, because they can get another 51 players. We have like 400 people, 500 people playing in England this weekend. You lucky so-and-sos. This is also won by Custodes under Josh Roberts, Solar Watch, Mono Foot. 23 Custodians on foot in units of 10, 10, and 3. 3-1-1 of Alaris, 2 Praetors, and 5 Witch Seekers. This one runs at you. This one is very hard to kill and controls the board. With their stratagems, they are hard to kill. Again, I think that if you look at the rest of this and you don't see the actual leaf blower armies, I'd be curious to see what leaf blowering stuff does to Custodes. That said, second place, Nathan Roberts with Chaos Demons. This is also Mono Tzinch. This one had a Lord of Change, Demon Prince Fate Skimmer, 18 Flamers in 3 units, 3 more Exalted Flamers soloed, 3 3 and 4 Screamers, and 3 Burning Chariots. So the difference here from the previous list is no pinks and blues, but just all heavy lifters. Every single thing in there hits very hard. Every single thing in there moves quite fast. Every single thing in there is a real pain in the butt to shoot. Oh, Leaf Blower Army. Yes, this is an I've played for too long 40K reference. Yes, it is shooty. Imagine taking a leaf blower, walking up to a table of 40K, pointing that leaf blower at your opponent's army and turning it on. That's effectively what they do. Occasionally GW allows math to overtake their armies, and they are affectionately referred to as leaf blowers. I need to speed up, so let's keep going. Mark Pilkington with Gene Stealer Cult got 3rd place. This was a ton of different neophyte units, 30 pure strains and 9 and 9 bikes. So you will see a lot of pure strains. Those things hit redonkulously hard and redonkulously fast. Pay attention. Yes, Zach, 8th Iron Hands is leaf blowers. 4th place was Peter Duff with Chaos Knights, He had 13 Vextrix Doggos, nothing else, just a wide variety of War Dogs. 5th place, Michael Duff with Guard. This was Cadian and foot heavy. It did have 30 Kazarkins. It did have 3 Plasma and Flamer Lehman Russes, but it was mostly Cadian folks on foot. There you go. I believe that's actually the first Guard that we've talked about this week. I agree with Colin. You will start seeing a lot more Guard. Moving on to the GT Coliseum Murciano in Spain, 40 players in 5 rounds. This one was won by Grey Knights. I hear a lot of people saying good things about Grey Knights. I need to be convinced about that because I think they're still relatively expensive. That said, this is another army straight out of a year and a half ago. Prescient Brotherhood. He had 30 interceptors. He had 3 regular baby characters and 1 Grandmaster baby carrier. And I believe he had 1 or 2 more characters, but that's the list. It's very fast. Each of the pieces hit hard. Without Armor of Contempt, I'm not sure how durable they are. So this might be a know your terrain, know your meta kind of situation. But you can do a lot of very fun big brain plays with Grey Knights. They are what I described to myself as what I wanted Eldar to be before the new Eldar book. So just think about that. Think about them somewhat similar to what the more Raven Wingy Marines are. Very fast, very shooting, and with 30 interceptors, quite punchy. Second place, we had Sisters under Samuel Martinez. This was Bloody Rose with a Triumph. You don't see the Triumph a ton. There's also a unit of 10 and 5 Sacrosants, and then all your standard Repentia, Zephyrum, Retributors, etc., etc. Nymerio Stark with Space Wolves came in 3rd place. As someone who's playing Space Wolves right now, I was very interested in this. He had 3 units of 5 Wolfguard with Lightning Claws and Meltas, because those are exceptionally cheap, and a Thunderhammer on the Sergeant. 2 units of 5 Wolfen. Expect to start seeing Wolfen because they are cheap and hit like a truck. He had a Judiciar with the Advance and Charge Warlord trait, which is interesting to me, and I will be thinking about it. He had 5 Aggressors, and then he had 2 units of Thunderwolf Cav, a 4 and a 3. I worry about the size of those guys' bases, but again, I've never gone 4-1 at a GT, so Nymerio might know something I don't. 3 Eradicators, which I'm absolutely bringing in, and then some Grav Longfangs. I prefer my Longfangs with different guns, but again, not as good of a result as Nymerio, so what do I know? Nymerio is doing the thing with the Terminator with the Cyclone Missile Launcher on top. Do that. It's silly. 4th place, Josue. I'm not going to try. Josue, Isabal, Chaos Demons. This one was Khorne. Be'lakor, Bloodthirster Scarbrand, Karanak, 10 Bloodletters, 3 units of 3 Crushers, and 10-5-5 of Khorne Dogs. So obviously can deep strike down in your face, but also can just run at your face. This one wants to punch you hard. And boy, if Crushers are good, I might make unsound financial decisions. Boy, I have to speed up a lot. All right. And Kaojin Waif with 5th place with Blood Angels, Astrath, 2 units of Death Company, a Redemptor, which you don't see a ton of, 3 Eradicators, 7-7-4 of Sangers, all of whom had Inferno Pistols. Important to note. 2 more events, 6 minutes to go, plus a Frontiers update. I can do this. The Northern Wastes 8 out of Sweden, 30 players in 5 rounds, won by Jim Standen on Gene Stealer Cult. Gene Stealer Cult totally flipped from where they've been. Yes, Nicholas, I know to talk about Frontiers. Jim Standen had Acolytes, Neos, and Bikes, so that build. He also had 20 Pure Strains and 2 units of 5 Aberrants, who probably still punch hard even if they're largely overcosted. All right, fun list. Go check this out if you like wonky Space Marines armies. So David Tedderin, 2nd place with Iron Hands. Master Artisans and Stealthy Iron Hands with 2 Astriuses. These are the giant, super heavy Space Marine tank. They have a lot of guns. There was a bunch of other shooting choices in there, but 2 Astriuses, which are also only 550 points now. And look at that data sheet for 550 points if you, again, want to make unsound financial decisions. They would shoot really hard in a shooty chapter. Just saying. It might be survivable. Like I said, my brain was spinning after looking at that list. We have Matthias Eliasson with Ulthway in third place, 7 D cannons in units of 3, 3, and 1, 10 Wraith Cannon, Wraith Guard, and then a bunch of Dire Avengers. So this one wants to shoot you off the board. And those Wraith Guard are not the easiest to kill. In fourth place, Daniel Bergstrom brought Imperial Knights. This is Tyrannus. He had 1 Errant, a bunch of Doggos, and then 5 Voidsmen in an auxiliary because playing the mission is good. And then Benjamin Hivonen with Guard in fifth place. This was a Catechin base with all of the various stuff you would see. Benjamin brought Signs, Hellhounds, and some Chimeras. So just, an army that actually would look like a real army on the board. Played it to a 4-1 finish. So congrats to Benjamin. Last event, we have the Savannah Showdown GT in Savannah, Georgia, won by Robin Roberts, playing Gene Stealer Cult. So again, Gene Stealer Cult, real army, have to consider them. Real army, potentially because 30 pure strains can put just an obscene amount of pressure on folks. 10 Metamorphs, bunch of Echoes, 3 Ridge Runners, 9 bikes, 3 trucks. So a more mechanized, very heavy pressure list. Noah Neundorfer with Death Guard, second place, 30 Plague Marines and 3 units of 10, 10 Blight Lords, a Spawn, a Drone, 2 Plague Burst Crawlers, and a Rhino, and all of the various usual characters you'll see. That is just really annoying to kill. Holds the board, kills you really well if it can get to within 17 inches of you. Third place is Barndon Lovato with Inari. For any long listeners of this show, a list near and dear to my heart. 2 units, 10 troops, 2 units, 5 Banshees, 5 there were also Rangers there to make the troops legal. 2 units, 10, 5 Banshees, 5 Scorpions, 3 Shining Spears, 3 and 3 of Shrouds, 3 D Cannons, and a War Walker, and the characters you would expect. So a list that, was very good in the last season, moved forward, still able to do more damage than the amount of units on the table would suggest to you. Chris Lanier, fourth place with Tyranids, Leviathan Carnifex sort of a build, also had an Exocrine, Maleceptor, Zoans, all the various characters and some troops, but mostly Carnifexes to do the heavy lifting. And Stephen Toski in fifth place. This is another all Khorne list. So we're seeing Khorne and Tzeentch as the main places to go with your demons, unsurprising. Bellicor, Bloodthirster, Scarbrand, and a Bloodmaster, 50 Bloodletters. 5 units of 10, and 5 and 5 Khorne dogs. And those are all of the events that took place. So now let me tell you about what happens this week on Frontiers, because they were good enough to do cross-promotion. And if you listen to one of our shows, you're generally going to like others of our shows. So Frontiers, this Wednesday, they will be chatting with Will Milton, who is a WTC Australia member. He will play in Belgium, which is apparently where they're keeping WTC this year. They'll talk about the Northside Alliance, also known as TNA, because the in Northside is very important. They are in the north side of Brisbane, which is a city in QLD, and we have a Colin back.
Hi.
So that cat didn't go to the vet.
I took my cat dog to the vet
in 20 minutes.
It's close by.
Okay.
She's having dental surgery. I just had to give them to her and sign paperwork that said that if they kill my dog, it's not their fault.
But what about your cat?
Don't have a cat.
Okay. The cat's going to become like the shelf if I have anything to do with it.
Are you done talking about tournaments?
I am. I'm now talking about Frontiers.
Okay, great. I also wanted to say that, are you done talking about Frontiers? Go ahead.
Nope.
Okay.
Give me 1 second to finish talking about Frontiers.
Do it.
2 interviews. One with Isaac, who's one of the key WTC people, co-founder of Wayland Itani, which is different than the evil company from Aliens. They make terrain. Paul and Mike will, from Team Northern Ireland, they will talk with Team Northern Ireland, TNI, as opposed to TMI, talking about what it's like up in Northern Ireland, how they're growing their WTC community, and the rivalry between Team Northern Ireland and Irish Warhammer communities, a fierce and violent rivalry that is world-renowned after this show. And that is what's happening on Frontiers. And now, Colin.
I will also say that Best in Faction will not be this weekend because we'll be at a tournament, and then we'll do it some weeknight next week to tell you guys all about it. There is a new battle report up last week from Tyler and Lucas. It's wonderful. Go check it out. My work computer is making noise because I'm late for a meeting. And then I'm going to post one today that is Guard versus Votan, and it's a different approach to our battle reports, and it is like 10 minutes long. So it is it's good. You're going to like it. No,
it's not 10 minutes long because we were talking about leaf blowers earlier in this.
Well, it's an aggressive game, but no, it's 10 minutes long because I did a different kind of battle report. TNG, we're not sure if they're back this weekend. Oh, they're not back this weekend. And then finally, Better Human, Better Gamer, how sportsmanship will make you win more. That's tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. Thanks, everybody. Posse out.
Bye, all.